people don't put an end to it, don't speak even about it, or look it straight in the eye and say, you know what, it's time for you to go. For example, there is an association of mothers of Yahoo boys. Yes, there is. So there are parents who are very happy about that their children are fleecing other people of their hard-earned monies through dubious means and driving expensive cars and doing all sorts of things, shedding blood in the process. There is a group of people. What do you think that particular support for that act is? There's also a group of people who are friends of a particular politician or some politicians, and they are the ones who, for every time someone calls out that politician or group of politicians, they come out with placards and say, we the people of so community, say leave our son alone, we support our son or our daughter, whatever the case may be. But it's very convenient for us to step aside and act like, oh, this is not our problem. No. It's the politicians that are dirty. We're not. But are we ready as a country, as a people, to stare down the eyes of corruption and impunity that's its partner, walking hand in hand? For example, we're dying of hunger, starvation, bad economic downturn. And a group of people are saying, well, 200 million has been voted and we're going to take our cars, whether you cry or not. Because you know what? The roads are bad. But then nobody's questioning who left the roads in that bad state. But then who's going to do anything about it? Nobody. Again, that's impunity. So how ready are we to put an end to this case of corruption that's gotten into a very tight, sweet relationship with impunity? Let's talk Lagos. 0700 993 993 993. That's 0700 993 993 993. Are we ready to combat corruption? Because it's an obstacle. It impedes fair competition. It does not allow for our economy to grow. The business sectors actually suffer. Even the political sector, for those who have the best of interest, they can't make it to the top because, you see, the highest bidder wins it all. It impedes merit. It impedes equality. That is when all kinds of colorations come. And then we remember that you're Igbo, I'm Hausa, or you're Yoruba, you're Calabar, go back to your village. Are we ready to put an end to it, or we're just going to keep going around in circles? I'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts. Hello.
It's ready to tell.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. This is Joy.
All right, Joy, go ahead.
Okay, so corruption cannot be totally taken off or taken away, but it can be taken down to the barest minimum. And those in leadership should not be seen to be corrupt, so that the followers will not also follow suit. Now, this APC administration, I remember when the looting of Abacha was brought back, Sim Buhari said that Abacha is not corrupt. So then I begin to wonder, if a leader is actually saying that Abacha is not corrupt, then what is the looting, the money that they are repatriating, what is it meant for? So these are the sort of things you see our leaders do. They begin to wonder. And Bagudu, that is part of Abacha regime that looted a lot of money, is also in this same government. So what does this show? So if they tell me they are fighting corruption, I say it's a lie. They are not. Because we have some of them who are corrupt in their government. They have done nothing to these people. So I need to see you to be fighting corruption for me to believe that really you're fighting corruption. Starting from your cabinet, starting from people who are working with you, starting from your brothers, your sisters. When you start doing something about those people, then I'll then believe that, yes, you are fighting corruption. But here in Nigeria, I don't think we have started. We don't even started at all because we still find them all around us. And that's why you see people doing anything they like because they feel leaders do those things and nothing happens to them. So why shouldn't I? The more billions I embezzle, the better for me. Why do you have plea bargain? We copy things from other countries that their systems are working well. Those places, they have working system. That's why they have plea bargain. But here, you don't have a working system. Yet, you want to copy plea bargain. Why the plea bargain? So you just steal billions. As I am now, if I have opportunity, I can steal as much billions I can steal, and I'll come for plea bargain. I give them some, and they allow me to go. Is that the right thing? Is that the best way to fight corruption? So to me, I don't think we have actually started fighting corruption. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joy, for calling. Very interesting. I'm going to let you guys comment a bit, and then we'll talk about the EFCC. The EFCC came, to being under the Obasanjo administration, and many are also of the opinion that, look, this was some sort of attack dog of the presidency at the time. And it was not necessarily an agency that was out to fight corruption. But there are those who would also say, well, the EFCC is fighting corruption. We've seen them dock a lot of people. Well, we've seen a lot of media dragging here and there. People always grabbed from their houses, etc., etc. But have we seen it to a conclusive end? For example, I do know that a certain former, what's it called now? I'm going to try to remember his name, who's been in custody for monies that were allotted to buy arms to fight Boko Haram. Former NSA, yes. Had been in custody forever and ever and ever and ever. And one would say that there's not been a judgment that says, okay, put this guy behind bars forever or whatever, giving him a 20-year sentence. We've only seen people being held, just held, either by the EFCC or the DSS. But when we talk about the clear-cut justice and the processes followed to the latter, have we seen that play out? So again, it brings to question how we go about fighting this so-called corruption. And if really our leaders and those who are at the forefront have set out to fight corruption, or maybe they do have an idea, but then in reality, it's not happening because impunity is hand in hand with corruption. But hey, what do I know? Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Turn off your radio, please. Good evening, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Turn off your radio, please.
I've already done that.
All right. Go ahead.
I think when you talk of corruption and how we can deal with it, the true issue is we are not one people. We are not one people that we have to revert back to regionalism. It is I and Olumuyiwa that normally say this. In as much as somebody does something and the next person who's supposed to come and say this thing is wrong comes from the other ethnic nationality, it will be perceived from the angle of ethnicity. People who amalgamated us saw the reason to do it so that we will continue to fight ourselves and they'll continue to plunder and pillage our land. If only we are one people, in what is going on by now, some people would have said, no, enough is enough. By the time everybody goes to the street, nobody will see it as, this is the making of an Igbo man, this is the making of an Hausa man. It will be a making of a nation who want to say no, that this is wrong. If you go to China, the punishment for corruption is death sentence. But here, you see people promoting demons who embezzle our commonwealth, who continue to pillage our land, continue to plunder.
I have to let you go quickly, but thank you very much for calling, Merchant Man. I'm staring, before we go on a quick break, I'm staring at a list of unresolved high-profile corruption cases in Nigeria since 1999 to 2022. I'm staring at a list. Yes. Corruption cases that were being investigated by the EFCC, the ICPC, the Senate and House committees of the Nigerian lawmaking body, which is called the Nigerian National Assembly. These cases are between 1999 and 2002. And I just said it a few minutes ago. We see a lot of media trials, they bring these guys and drag them and they make it news. We sensationalize it and the EFCC talks a bit tough and then it fizzles out. And a few odd years later, these people are running for governor. They're running to be senators. They're running to be House of Rep members. Sometimes they even find themselves in the corridors of power as special advisors or ministers. of the Federal Republic, that same country they stole from, with unresolved cases, and half the time it's the electorate that is screaming blue murder. Oh gosh.
Zara Global Markets is thrilled to announce the official launch of our brand new home in Lagos. This is in line with the company's vision of bringing global financial opportunities to your doorstep. The event will be an avenue to learn more about Zara Global Markets and a great platform for networking with like minds in the trade and financial sector. This is one event you don't want to miss. Date is Saturday, November 11, 2023. Time 11 a.m. Venue, second floor, the Alpha Plaza, Central Business District. Alausa.
hard facts, the big hard fact. Today we're talking about impunity versus the fight against corruption. And I've been talking about how we play a role in all of this, how, whether or not we're ready to fight corruption. I did say I was going to give a list. I have a long list, but I'm not going to go through all of that list. I'm just going to call out a few people who are on this list of cases that have been on since 1999 to 2022, and then of course I'm going to come back to the phone lines and take your thoughts, because I see so many of them. One of those the first cases is that of Rochas Okorocha. Yes, 2.9 billion naira fraud. Yes, Mr. Okorocha, former governor of Imo State and presently senator representing Imo West Several District. He was standing trial alongside an APC chieftain, Miss Anyam Nyere Chinyere, and 5 companies, Naftali International Limited, Perfect Finish, etc., etc. They were alleged to have siphoned funds from Imo State government house accounts and Imo State joint local government private accounts and diverted these monies into their private firms between October 2014 and February 2016. I'll leave it at that. Another case, Femi Nikayode, 1.26 million money laundering, $1 million money laundering. Kayode, who's a former Asian minister, was doxxed by the EFCC on a 5-count charge bordering on money laundering, criminal breach of trust before a federal high court in Abuja. Yes. And this case was, it dragged on. He resumed hearing, I think, on the 20th of June, 2022. That's when the trial started. As we speak, the matter had been adjourned and it's still pending. I'll move away from that. Let's talk about another case here. Pastor Osage Ize Iyam, 700 million naira fraud trial. The EFCC prosecuted Pastor Osage Ize Iyam. He was at the time a gubernatorial candidate in Edo State for both PDP and APC. Ize Iyam was docked for a 700 million naira fraud. Yes. The trial began 14th of July 2020. The court, however, on March 23, 2021, ruled that it will continue to hear the matter while maintaining the matter before it borders on money laundering, which the Federal High Court had exclusive jurisdiction to hear. The judge dismissed the defendant's application while berating defendants for filing a motion which he said intended to waste the time of the court, and adjourned to March 17, 2022 for a continual of the trial. The matter has now been adjourned to November the 3rd at the time of 2022 for continuation of the trial. Have you heard anything of that trial today? I'll quickly move away from that to something else. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm just bringing some cases to you so you remember. Donyo Kupe, 702 million naira money laundering. 702. Apparently, they said he diverted funds to the tune of 702 million naira alongside 2 companies, Value Trust Investments and Abraham Telecommunications. EFCC on June 26, 2019, after the testimony of the 6th witness, Shuaibu Salisu, a former director of finance in the Office of the National Security Advisor, had closed that case against Donyo Kube. I'll give you another very notable person. DCP Abba Kyari, drug trafficking, $61.4 million bribery. Where's that case as we speak? And there's several other cases, at least 200 plus, that are unresolved by the EFC. I could go on and on, but time does not permit me. And guess what? These people always find their way back into government, one way or another, being a spokesperson of the government, either being in the Senate and House of Representatives. And if these people still have these cases hanging on their head, in fact, let's play a game. which politician, as we speak right now, or what's the percentage of politicians that are in power, sitting in the National Assembly or running within the corridors of power at state and federal levels, that hardly have any case with the EFCC? I'll let you decide. 0700 993 993 993. This relationship between impunity and corruption in Nigeria, how ready are we to put an end to it? Let me go to WhatsApp. The phone lines are open. If you're a lady, call 014657190. Someone here says, Kunle from Festac Town says, I know Rochas is no more serving. I know that. I know. At the time that report was filed, he was still a serving senator. Thank you very much. Adedeji here says, in regards to the topic that we discussed, I don't think corruption can be stopped in Nigeria or Africa at large just because a typical black man is greedy and selfish by nature. Apart from other factors, not being God-fearing, we love extortion, love for money, quick prosperity, tribalism, poverty, differences in language, etc. These few points outlined, corruption will be cumbersome to fight in Nigeria. I'll take a quick call. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks, Michael.
Michael, you have 60 seconds, quickly.
Okay, thank you. Fighting of this corruption, like you said, it's not something we can do.
Why?
We can't at all. Coming onto the media to talk about it this way cannot even solve the problem. Because as at now, as we ask, the people that are concerned, that are the real corrupt ones, are the one in government. They've tried all way to emerge themselves in government by now. So, you could see that the former president wanted to fight it. If we do it from his first inaugural statement, he said if we do not kill corruption, corruption will kill us. And he was ready to fight it.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling. It's because your 60 seconds is over, and that's why I'm letting you go, because we don't have time. I want to take another quick call. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're in a very noisy place.
Good afternoon, Marianne.
Yes, I can hear you, but you're in a very noisy
I've
place.
left the place. You see, this is Pastor Ladipo calling from Oregon.
Go ahead.
Marianne, the thing is funny. I want to remind you something. All these cases you are calling, these people, they are still existing. Some of them are still in government. And the reality is that they've turned into confraternity. That is confraternity of corruption. So they still within themselves, they use, if you remember what one of the former police person said when he got to the National Assembly, he said most of the people in this assembly, they are the people he was prosecuting for one offense or the other. So this thing needs to be difficult because they have formed a serious confraternity.
Okay.
So it's like they inform themselves, have you stolen? Have you taken something? If you are not even taking something notable, you will not even come into their clique.
Okay.
Where is the Akata General, the former Akata General today?
Big question, but thank you very much, Pastor Ladipo, for calling. I have to take one quick call before we wrap up because we do not have too much time. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. You have 60 seconds.
Hello, good evening, Mariam.
Good evening.
Yeah, corruption can be, how do I put it? We can keep corruption in Nigeria, but that we are not yet ready for it. Two things that can keep corruption: technology and strong institutions. And the Nigerian masses are not yet ready to take up the government. If we are ready, all this story of corruption will be a thing of the past.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for calling. Thank you for being straight to the point. Someone here says impunity fuels corruption. Using corruption by politicians and government officials as an example, Nigerians have the power to punish errant public office holders by voting them out, recalling them and pressuring legislators to impeach incapable presidents. But Nigerians will never do that either because they're ignorant or too hungry to be bothered. For corruption to be dealt with, the people who have power to penalize and punish must exercise that power. Collins in Ikorodu. If the people who have the power to do it are also, or rather have some skeletons in their cupboard, can they do it? Do you cut off your nose to spite your face? Can you do that? No, sir. So again, it leaves us with another big question. Do we have what it takes to eliminate corruption or even reduce it to its barest minimum. Do these politicians mean it when they say they want to put an end to corruption? Okbaka says, kudos to the president-elect and the Supreme Court judge. Okay, sorry, that obviously wasn't for me. He says, corruption cuts across board from politicians to civil servants down to all private companies in any company. From the manager to the staff down to security, the cleaners, all can't call people criminals, okay? Until we cherish each other, we're going nowhere. Most of all, this Yahoo Boys consult with pastors and alphas for Yahoo Plus, down to banks who will assist Yahoo Boys drop their Western Union transfer. We, the populace, are worse than the politicians. I thank you all for being part of the conversation. We will revisit this issue again. But don't forget, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, MIMIEY. We'll continue this conversation on social media. But as a Nigerian, as you go about your business today, think about it. How can you reduce corruption in your own way? My name is Mary Anna, thanking you for being part of the conversation.